Hi again, everyone. This is Matt Stolenwork, your distance education specialist. And guess what? We're at the second to last installment of my 10-part blog series on developing your Moodle course for fall. Now, I said on Thursday that this post would be on messaging, but I need to tie up a few loose ends before making that one public, so I will reveal that one on Thursday. And today, in this video, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and I'm going to go ahead and explore how to send online feedback to your students on their assignments and also show you how to enter grades into the Moodle gradebook. So, here we go. Now, for assignments, some of your assignments you may have set there's no submission, but for the ones that do have submissions, if you have gone to your messaging preferences, which remember it's under your user menu under preferences, if you set it appropriately to receive emails, then whenever a student submits an assignment, you'll get an email notification of it. You can also, if you want to see that at a glance without being notified, you can regularly check out the dashboard. The dashboard will show you if there are assignments that need to be graded, or if a student has submitted a comment on a grade that you haven't seen yet. It will say it under the course. All right then. So now let's go into your course and we'll set up grading preferences for that course. So I'm going to go back home and I'm going to go to my courses right here. I'm going to choose my sample course. Okay. So to get into the grading preferences, remember I'm not actually grading yet. I just need to set up my course so that the grades appear the way I want them to appear for students. To do that, go down to the administration block on the left side, go all the way down to course administration. If it's not open, go ahead and open it like that. And then we're going to go to grades, of course. All right, now when you go in, there's going to be a menu of choices at the top for different kinds of preferences. I'm going to choose grade or report, that very first one right there, and take a look at it. All right, so this shows all the students in your course. I only have 2 students in my course, that's why there's just 2 here. You see their image, their name, their email, and you'll see all the assignments that you've put into the course that have grades attached to them. So these are all of the assignments that is going to have a grade in one of these boxes. And at the very far right, you'll see the course total. And you can do modifications on that. I'll show you in a little bit. All right, we'll come back to this grader report later to do some quick grading. But for now, we're going to look at the rest of the grade settings in this menu. Well, not all of them, just a few of them that I think are really important. The first of which is the gradebook setup. I'm going to open that up. Now, if you're grading on points, there's lots of ways that Moodle can compute the total score for the course. The easiest option, though, is to use what's called natural aggregation. In natural aggregation, the points of the individual assignments in the course comprise the total grade. And the weighting of the grades is based upon the proportion of individual assignment points to the total points of all assignments. So for example, this learning unit plan project has a much greater weight than, say, the transformative learning theory reflection. All right, so what we want to do is we want to change this to a natural aggregation. So to do that, look for the folder that contains the course name and choose the edit menu to the right of it. I'm going to edit settings. For aggregation, I'm going to choose natural and then save the changes. Okay, now you'll notice down here my course total has changed to the total number of points for every assignment in the course. If I add these up, it comes out to 200 points. So this is my total possible. So I can pretty easily figure out what the weight of each of these is. This is 100 out of 200, or 50% of the grade. And if I want to change the relative weights, what I'll need to do is go into the assignments and actually change the number of points for each assignment. You can also at a glance see what the weights are right here. This is 50%, 10%, 10%, 20%, 10%. All right, there's a lot of variations you can do to this, but for now, this is simple, it's easy, and it's consistent. There are no complications to it. There is one little option you might want to do. If you like to compute your own grade at the end, students might see assignment grades, but you want to create your own grade at the end and not let students see a running total. You can actually hide the course total in your grade book if you want to do that, just to let you know that's possible. All right, I'm going to go to the next item in our grade preferences menu. We're going to go to course grade settings right after gradebook setup. And there's only one setting here that I think is really important to look at. It's this grade display type right here. This is how students are going to see their grades in your gradebook. The default is real. That just means how many points they earned on that assignment. So by default, that's all they're going to see. You can also have the gradebook show their percentage, so the percentage number of points relative to the total, or the letter grade that corresponds to that percentage. I'll show you in a moment where that's located for a United's grade scale. That's already entered in automatically. If you want, you can actually have a second display type appear along with the primary one, and they'll appear in parentheses. So for me, probably my favorite is going to be probably real and then letter, but you get to choose which one you get to do. Okay, so I've got that set. That's the only option in this whole menu that I think is really essential for us to look at. I'm going to save changes on that. And I'm going to go to the next menu item. That's important, and it's outcomes used in course. Okay, this is where you're going to have to pull out your syllabus and look at the program and concentration outcomes that you've assigned for your course. And the entire list is going to appear here. By the way, if you're looking for Maret 5, it's actually at the very bottom of the list. Everything else is more or less alphabetical, but this one I had to recreate, and unfortunately I can't sort these alphabetically. So find the program and concentration outcomes that you want. I'll just choose 2 right now. Now it's very important that that you be sure to do this right the first time. My experience has been, already working with a few faculty at United, that Moodle causes a lot of hassles if you realize you've missed an outcome and you want to try to add it to the list after you started working in the course. So it's really essential that you're clear about what your outcomes are and put them in here. Do it correctly the first time. You can add outcomes to in an entire course if you want, but I'm gonna show you how to add outcomes to individual assignments in a little bit. Okay, this is all set. There's no need to save. It automatically updates when you put these over here. So we're going to go to the next item. I think we're all done with these menu items. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into my assignments again, which we did actually did a few blog posts ago when we created assignments. I'm just going to review my grade settings in them just to make sure they look the way I want. So I'll go back to my course using this breadcrumb navigation, and I'm going to zoom all the way down to one of my assignments. I'll choose this one right here. And now to look at the settings, again, you remember I just go to Edit Settings here. Okay, and I'm going to zoom down to Grades, the Grades section. Here we go. And remember, you can choose none for a grade type. That way it won't show in the grade book. But since we are using a grade book here, we're going to choose either scale or point. Scale is for if you're assigning pass, no pass, assignment by assignment, or if you're assigning a distinct letter grade and then you're going to compute what the final grade is manually. But if you choose point, you're letting Moodle help you compute the grade based upon the points you give to each assignment. So make sure you have the right type selected, the right number of maximum points. Okay, everything looks good to me. I am now going to go down to outcomes. If you have outcomes assigned to your course, then this new section appears called outcomes. And notice both of the outcomes that I have assigned to this course appear here with a little checkbox. I can set so one of the outcomes is assigned to this assignment. I can make it so both of them are assigned to the assignment. Once I have it set the way I want, I save and return to course. And that lets me add an outcome to the grade, not just the points, but I can also score the outcomes. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'd like to show you really quick. I'm going to go back up to the grades. So remember, administration, course administration, grades. I'm going to show you really quick what United's grade scale is, letter grade scale is. So in grade administration, you just choose letters. And you'll see all of the scores that correspond to a letter. So if a student gets a score between 93.00 and 100, that if you've designated a grade type to appear on their grade book, then they'll see an A. It's that easy. Okay, so I think I got everything all set here. Let's go ahead and get to grading. So I have two students, and I want to see what they've submitted. I'm going to go with an assignment that involves an online submission. So I'm going to go back up to the to my course, go back to that assignment that I looked at earlier, because I know that there are assignments here. At the top where it says grading summary, there are 2 participants in my course, 2 submissions, and both of those submissions need grading. So to see those submissions, we'll just click this link right here. Okay, and you'll notice that I have both my students. You'll see their picture, their name, their email address, the status of their submission, and you'll notice both of them have submitted the assignment for grading. If they haven't submitted, it'll say no submission. If you've graded it, it'll just say graded. That easy. Here's where we'll actually enter the grade. I'll show you that in a moment. This will show you when the student last made a submission. It'll also note if it's late. This is the actual submission they made. You can download and grade this if you want. Any comments that you've made. This is when you last edited the grade or the comments. If a student has provided feedback on your comments, that'll appear here. I'll show you annotate PDF in a moment. And then outcomes are way over here on the right, the assignment that's attached to it. And we'll do that in a moment. Okay, what are we going to do right now? Well, let's take a look at a couple of options that you have in here. I'm going to look down here at the filter. If you have a lot of students in your course, you can filter so you only see students who haven't submitted the assignment, those who have submitted the assignment, or assignments that are submitted that you haven't graded yet. Up at the top, for grading action, if you want, you can choose to download all the submissions at once so you can grade them all offline at once. You also can later on, there is an option for uploading all of the feedback files. Like if you do annotations on these documents, you can upload them all at once as a zip file. What we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and enter a grade. So there's actually 2 ways to do it. You can either click this edit box here, or you can choose edit grade right here. Okay, so you enter the student's grade, what they got out of 20 points. Here's the outcome. You choose the type, the level at which they met that outcome. So I'll say competent. I'm a stickler. And type in any feedback assignments. I'm going to give the worst comment feedback possible. You can specify whether or not to notify students when they when you've graded the assignment. I don't see any reason why not to, so I'll just choose yes. And I'll save. I can save changes and go back to the grade table, or I can just save and show next. It'll take me to the next student. So now I can grade student two's grade, and the same thing goes on there. Okay, so there's one thing to notice here that I think is really, really cool. You'll notice that student 2 has submitted a PDF document, and that opens up a special feature here. You'll notice a new option has appeared called Annotate PDF. If a student submits a PDF, you have the option to view the assignment and annotate the assignment completely within Moodle without downloading the paper. So here's student 2's paper. I have all of these tools I can work with. I can highlight text if I want. Oh, this is a comment. So I can type a comment. I can highlight text. I can draw on it. So I have a lot of options available to me here. And once I'm done with these annotations and save this, it immediately goes back to the student as part of your feedback along with your comments. So you don't have to go through the hassle of downloading and uploading. You might actually want to require students to submit assignments as PDFs just to make grading that much easier. Okay, so that's a modified document. Good job. And I will now save these changes. So both my students are graded, and this one's graded. Oh, I forgot to update this one. But you'll notice Annotate PDF actually has the annotated PDF right here, and the student's going to see that too. So that's really cool. Now let's say you have an assignment that has no submissions. You're just grading, I don't know, performance, participation, attendance, anything like that, or an in-class presentation. You can switch to quick grading. And to do that, we're going to go back to administration, go back to course administration and grades, and we are going to go to the grader report. And now you'll notice that there's an edit icon next to each student. If you select one of these, what it does is it allows you to see all that student's assignments at once. So these are all of students' assignments here. Now this outcome here is a real mess because it makes things really drag out. But what's important to know is that you're seeing all of students' assignments all the way down. You can, now to enter into these, you have to override a grade. You can override all of them or individually. Now, if you do this, it will override anything that you entered into the grade table that we just did a little earlier. So just keep that in mind. Now, what you're more likely to do is the more likely scenario is that you have an assignment, you just want to grade everybody on that one assignment. So like you're teaching philosophy, I want to grade everybody on that one. Oops, I went too fast there, sorry. Notice that there's another edit icon next to each assignment. If you select that, it'll bring up every student for that one assignment. And then I can override. Now, if you want to like default give everybody the same grade, you can do that right here. So if there's an empty grade, you can insert a value for it. So like maybe give 10 points to everybody, or give it to everyone, and that'll override even grades that are already entered. So I'll go ahead and do that, do a bulk insert, and what that'll do is it'll enter it into everybody. Okay, so I'm not going to do that with anybody myself right now. There's one thing to notice right here. You can pull up any one of the grade items right here. But notice there's one extra one at the bottom called course total. If you want, you can override the entire grade for the course. Maybe you want to add a few fudge points or just play around with the grade a little bit. You can override, give the student a different point total then is computed by Moodle. And you can also give feedback on that total grade as well. All right, it's a lot to cover, but there's really so much more possible with grades. I haven't even gotten into rubrics, which I think are an outstanding addition to your courses. You can embed rubrics within your assignments that students can use as a reference, and you can also use rubrics for your scoring and for helping students, giving feedback to your students. You can make the rubric part of your feedback. Well, that is a whole topic in itself, and I'll have to save that for a different time. But what I would like to leave you with is a few quick tips about giving feedback. Reminders, actually. Um, Early on in the course when students aren't really sure about how they're doing with their assignments, that's a really good time to give quick feedback to them. Give them that like confidence boost, they're going the right direction, they're doing the right thing, or give them that constructive criticism that, kind of guides them in the direction you want them to go. So that's really good. And be consistent with your feedback. Give it regularly and make it timely. It's especially important if you do related activities that build on each other. Make sure you give feedback to your students before they do the next related activity so they can use that feedback to help them improve in those future assignments. Meaningful, specific feedback is essential. Okay, so what can you do? Well, go ahead and set up your grading preferences. Go over all of your assignment settings just to make sure everything is the way you want it. So when students start submitting assignments, you'll be all ready to go. Well, coming up is my last blog post of this entire series. It's on using informal communication channels with students, all within Moodle. That includes messaging and chat and Big Blue Button. So I hope you'll join me for that. Well, that's it for now. I'll see you on Thursday.